Assalamu aleykum. I want to do a quick video today on my reversion to Islam. Now, I was brought up in a Christian family, church every Sunday or most Sundays as it went. You know, we're always taught to pray, just the simple things at home, pray before we eat, before we sleep, you know, things like that. And as we're going to church, from the age of about 8 years old, something didn't quite feel right for me. And that is quite a young age. I mean, 7, 8, there's not much difference. But from 8 years old, I do remember feeling like something wasn't quite right for me in terms of Christianity. I thought, I mean, when I got a little older, I got to about 11, I still had these feelings, and I thought, you know, maybe it's because of the church I went to. You know, maybe it's just the church that I've been in. Maybe it's something about that I don't like. And obviously with there being so many denominations of Christianity, I thought, okay, well, you know, I'm sure they all teach the same thing, but what's different? You know, maybe I just need to go to a different type of church. So I started to go to friends' churches and to see how they, you know, perform their worship, and to see if I could feel, you know, anything there that I was lacking in my own church, or the feeling I was lacking in my own church. So I went through quite a few denominations. I'm not going to name them, but there were about at least 4 different denominations of churches that I went to, and still there was this gap from my heart that none of them could fill. So as the years went by, I kind of just went along with it. Okay, I'm born to a Christian house, you know, my faith will come. I just keep praying for faith. I kept praying for faith. And when I got to about 15, 16, I'd got to a point where I thought, you know what, this is not getting me anywhere. I don't feel like I'm connecting, and you know, if it's not in my heart to pray, or if I'm praying and not really believing that there's somebody there listening, then who am I trying to kid? There's no point in kidding myself, and you definitely can't fool God. You can't kid God. So I thought, you know, I will find clarity, but for now, to respect the religion, I decided to step back. I was never an atheist, and I never identified myself as an atheist, but at the same time, at that point in my life, I couldn't identify with being a Christian and believe in it from my heart. So for about a year, until I was about 17, I didn't pray at all. But what I did notice, that in times of trouble, I did kind of just look up and say, you know, like, God, please help me, you know, do this. And then I thought, oh, God's not going to help me. I haven't even paid attention to God for the past X amount of months. Why is he going to help me now? And I kept on thinking, like, you know, I can't get God to love me anymore. It's too late. So I thought, you know, let me just live as just a being. And I didn't, like I said, I didn't pray anything. And that year that I didn't pray at all was the worst year of my life. I felt very on edge. I was angry all the time. I was scared. I just felt really, really lost. And I remember listening to, you know, gospel music, trying to get myself back into the feel. You know, I'd listen to certain music and it'd make me cry because I thought the words were so beautiful, and I used to think, I wish I could feel what they feel, but I don't feel it. So anyway, that year passed, and I thought, you know, I think it's time to look at other things, look at other religions, you know. And again, like the same way I went to different denominations of churches, I then started to read about other religions. You know, there's not a million out there. You can probably guess 1 or 2. But just to read, just to gain knowledge, to see if it felt right, if I could see sense in it, if I thought it was something that I needed. And I went through them all, and wasn't really doing anything for me. But then there was Islam. And I read up on Islam. I read up on how Muslims pray, what they believe, and something about that was calling me. Something about that was calling me. Something about that had me, whereas nothing else did. So what I started to do was I started to research more on Islam. I used to speak to friends, I used to look at books, I used to go on the internet, but everything had to be very, very hush-hush, very secretive, because I was scared that I was going to offend my family, upset my family, but it was something that I thought I had to do for me. So, you know, as I'd be reading some of these teachings of Islam and I'll see videos, just the unity among everybody was so beautiful to me. It was so beautiful. It made me cry, it made me happy, it made me feel like I want to be there. And I suppose the sense that so many people are united in this faith and it's strong, that's what I needed, that's what I wanted, you know. So I carried on doing research, and then after a while I thought, okay, let me just leave that there. When I'm ready to really commit to this, then I'll go back. Maybe that wasn't the right attitude, but that's how I felt at the time. I was still really confused with my Christian upbringing and going into Islam. But the thing that I think made it easy was that so many of the teachings in Christianity, so many of the beliefs in Christianity are reflected in Islam. So I felt like, okay, yes, you know, I knew there was a God, you know, and everything that I had been taught as a child and growing up, it wasn't all a complete lie, it wasn't all a waste of time. It was just like the final piece that just kind of sealed everything for me. That's what I found in Islam. So a few years ago, well, a couple of years ago, I did keep a dog, and I had a red-nosed pit bull. She had puppies. Now at this time I hadn't reverted. I'd got a lot of knowledge and I could feel a calling, but I hadn't reverted yet. So, you know, I took one of the puppies out to the local park, and there was a guy there who saw the pups, asked if I had any more, and said that he wanted to buy one. So I thought, I'm not really sure. You know, the puppies were my little babies at the time. I thought, you know, it's good to check out where they're gonna go. So I said, okay, if you're local, then, you know, let me see how your house is, and, you know, before I let you have my puppy. I wasn't going to beat around the bush about that. So he's like, okay, fine, cool, no problem. So I went along to the house, and I went through the door, and immediately as I went through the door, there was this, I don't know, this feeling that I had inside. And I looked around, and all over the house, all over the hallway, in the front room, there were these beautiful, beautiful Arabic, sort of like calligraphy pictures everywhere, you know. And I don't know what it was about that house, but I could feel like a warmth. And he called down his sister-in-law, and she came and she greeted me, and she was so warm and kind. And at the time, I wasn't a Muslim, I wasn't wearing hijab, I was just a normal girl, literally off the street, and she was so warm and kind to me. And I thought, even, you know, just for that purpose, just because there's someone like this in this house, and this house feels good to me, he can have a puppy. So the puppy went along, and a couple of weeks later, I went to check on how the puppy was doing. And when I went round, I spoke with this lady who was from Pakistan, and she was a Muslim. I speak to her, she'd ask me how I am, where I'm from, and we just got into conversation. And she is the one, she's the sister who really, really helped me to understand and answer all my questions that I had. If you didn't know them all, she'd find out for me. But, you know, she took the journey with me. You know, it was sort of a safe haven where I could go. I used to say, oh, I'm going to go and check on the puppies, I'm going to go and, you know, see my friends, to my family, and then I'll go and sit and meet with this sister. And, you know, I wasn't always honest about it, but it was leading to better things, and I knew that, I could feel that. So this sister, she, you know, she answered all my questions, she helped me understand things, she helped me gain clarity, and mashallah, I accepted Islam fully, took my shahada, and it's just, everything's just been beautiful since then, you know. The way I feel now is, I can't even describe it. It's like, I feel like everything makes sense. There's direction and focus in my life, there's real guidance, there's something I believe in my heart, and that's what was really lacking before, the belief in my heart. And yeah, mashallah, I embraced Islam, and Islam embraced me back through, you know, the community. I met the people, the sisters. So I guess that's my story. It's still quite emotional because my family haven't really accepted it, especially the older generation, but I'm not going to get into that too much. I'm doing what I'm doing because it feels right for me. I feel like it's the correct thing for where I want to be in life. So many wonderful things have happened. I can't even go into them all now, but you know, if you have any questions or comments, inbox me or leave a message below, down there somewhere. Or actually, inbox me if you have questions, and I'll get back to you. Now, the only thing left to discuss really is the hijab. The sister who really helped me and guided me along my journey into accepting Islam and embracing Islam, you know, she told me about modesty and everything like that. I didn't dress particularly outrageous before, but it wouldn't be suitable by the standards of the Quran. So I changed that. That wasn't a problem. While wearing this hijab, I haven't actually had too many negative comments or looks. So, you know, I have to thank God for that. Possibly because of the community I'm in. When I did travel a little further away, because I'm from London, it's very, very cosmopolitan. When I did travel further away, where it wasn't so diverse, there was one comment, but it doesn't need repeating. But, you know, I just shrugged it off and let it go. Whereas usually, you know, me before, there's no way I would have let that go. I would have had something to say, or, you know, this really has helped me to calm down and become a more patient and a better person. I believe a better person. So there's my story. I look forward to hearing from you guys, girls, ladies, and have a good day. Assalamu aleykum.